Good Sunday morning. Oh my gosh. This is the Pill Method Show. My name is Don Daniel, and I'm the founder of the Pill Method. And today's show is about budgeting, but not in the same sense you may have understood it before. This is about should wealthy people budget. We want to tell you the truth about budgeting and what it really is about. Is budgeting a positive or a negative? And are the affluent, those people who have money, should they not understand what benefits they can get from budgeting? In fact, we're going to show that it is possible to become even more wealthy by taking care of your money, by being a good steward of your money, so that you can grow your money to unimaginable heights. We're taught that if you're affluent, if you're wealthy, if you have a lot of money, I don't need to really pay attention to budgeting. Well, we're going to blow that myth right out of the water today on the Pill Method Show. Are you ready? Let's go. Good morning. Today's show is going to be, I think it's going to be one of those shows that it's going to challenge what you thought about money. And that's what the Pill Method is all about. Pill Method stands for prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. Understanding these principles, you will be well on your way to understanding how your money should work. So let's pay close attention today as we go over should wealthy people budget. You know, we want to redefine financial freedom across wealth spectrums. All right. In this episode, we dissect the common misconception that wealth negates the need for budgeting. In fact, the wealthier you are, the more you need to budget, so that, listen to me, you want to be in a position where you can do more with less. You want to be able to do more with less. How would you like to be able to make sure that your money is optimized? I mean, it is working as hard as it can. You have worked hard for this money. You have built this money up. You have put in the hours, you put in the education, you put in the sweat equity. You've done everything you needed to do to get where you are financially. Now, what are you going to do now to take care of it and make that money work for you instead of you now working for the money? That is where we're going today. So wealthy people need to budget more. So let's talk about what budgeting actually is. Can we do that? Now, I need to know if whoever is listening, who's ever watching right now, I need you to go ahead and post it in the comments. If you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube, go ahead and say hello this morning and tell us where you're from. So I'm going to type it in. All right. So I'm here in Huntsville, Alabama. Good morning to you guys. All right. Good morning from Huntsville. There we go. Good morning. Oh, no. Okay. I'm typing too fast. All right. Good morning from Huntsville. So where are you guys from? Where are you watching from? Say good morning and tell me where you're from, and I'll give you a shout out this morning. Okay. But get in. Let's understand what budgeting really is. It's not about budgeting is not about, I want to make a purchase for the future. So I'm going to save my money so that I can make sure that I can buy what I want. Or it's not about how do I make ends meet? How do I take the little money that I have and make it stretch so that I can just exist? Let me tell you what budgeting really is about. All right. And you need to write this down. Budgeting is this. You want to track your spending. It is that simple. How much money are you spending each month out of the money that you are making? Let's take the net that is deposited into your bank accounts. All right. And let's write it down. Listen, I don't care if you just take a notebook. Okay. Some people use spreadsheets. Some people use software. It doesn't really matter. You just need to track your spending. How much do you make? And how much are you spending each month? And you can develop some averages. All right. Now, you know how much you spend on your cell phone each month because that very rarely changes unless you change plans. Okay. Your insurance is going to be the same for at least a period of time. Let me see what else is the same. Your let me see what else do you pay for. Let's say you have a mortgage. All right, your mortgage is going to be the same for a while until your taxes and insurance will change. Okay, but for the most part, those things are the same. What you pay for cable, those things are the same for a while. Some of these things are variable though. From month to month, you're not going to spend exactly the same amount on food or going out to eat from month to month. It's not going to be the same thing. The money that you spend on electricity, that's not going to be the same from month to month. So those things that are variable, you want to put in an average. This is how much I expect to spend on these things based on a 3, 6, or 12-month average. So you write those things down. So now, as I'm spending my money, I'm literally subtracting from the amount of money that I put into the bank account. I'm literally subtracting how much money I'm spending each month on these things. And then once I get that done, okay, wait a second. Don't forget this. This is important. Don't forget to pay yourself. Okay. You need to add in how much money you're spending on yourself for fun. I mean, you want to be able to enjoy yourself on the way to building wealth. Okay. So don't forget that part. So as you're doing everything else, don't forget that part. So we're going to take a look at how much does it cost to live each and every month. And you're not going to leave anything out. Okay. So you want to track everything in the budget. And once you do that, here's what's going to happen. You are going to take a look at, let's kind of break this thing down. All right. So when you get paid, let's take a look at how it should break down. So the first thing should be giving. All right. Whether it's tithe and offering or, for you, it may be charity. Okay, so tithe and offering or charity, all right, that's going to be number one. We need to learn how to give. I'm telling you, once you learn how to do that, it is fantastic. We take care of the rest of the money more carefully when we practice giving to others. I'm telling you, it does wonders for your finances. So giving. And then the next thing underneath giving to others is giving to yourself. How much am I putting away for the future? I want to give to myself. And how much am I spending each month so that I can, have memory, make memories for the family. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, there are some others that are saying that's last on the list. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You want to avoid money trauma for your children, and you want to avoid money trauma for yourself. Okay. When you restrict yourself, when you're not spending money on yourself, that can become a problem. You just want to be able to manage it. So make sure you're putting in how much of my budget am I spending on self or family. Okay. So the next thing after that is if I have debt, I want to make sure I have in my budget what the minimum payments on the debt. I want to make minimum payments on the debt. At least have that in there. All right. Now, I don't go crazy on me and start writing me notes and letters and say, Don, you're telling people just to pay minimums on the debt. No, I'm not. I'm just saying, let's figure out what the budget is, and then I'll show you how to attack the debt. But you have to have at least the minimums in there so you know what's going on. All right. So let's go over this again. Let's write this down. Okay. First, my income. All right. Income. Next, giving to others. All right. Write it down. Giving to others. All right. All right. Next, giving to self. You got to make sure you and your family are happy. All right. Giving to self. Now, I got that written down. All right. Hey, Quentin Stroud. Listen, man. Quentin, listen. What are you doing blowing up on social media? You don't think people are watching? I see you. I see you out there blowing up on social media. Come on, Quentin. All right. Okay. So, hey, Quentin, listen, if you want to come into the show, go ahead and click that link and come into StreamYard with us. But when you click on it and it'll say, do you want to go to YouTube? No, click the other one so you can come into the show if you want to do that. Okay. All right. And tell people about a little bit about what you're doing. I think that would be prudent today. All right. So don't be laughing at me. Don't be laughing. All right. So we got income, we got giving to others, we got giving to self. All right. So now once you understand giving to self, and that's going to be important, then what you're looking at is paying the minimums on the debt. Okay. Minimums on debt, paying all the other bills. There you go. All right. Paying all the other bills. You got food, you got clothing, you've got electricity, you got cell phone, you got your streaming services, whatever you are doing on that. Okay. So you're writing all of that down. All right. So now, once you do that, do you realize it's much easier to figure out how much money is actually left over after living life to the full? You can live a great life, including a great lifestyle, if you would just track your spending. And now, what happens with the money that's left over? Okay, Quentin, what do you got to say here? It says income, giving to, there you go. Write it down. Check him out. Thank you, Quentin. All right. So that's what we're talking about. Once you get all of that done, you have money that's left over. What are you doing with that? That's called discretionary spending. Discretionary spending. Now, what happens to most of us? Because we're not tracking what we spend, that discretionary spending, we continue to spend throughout the month. And then it feels like paycheck to paycheck when we do that. Now, the wealthy don't really pay attention to that. Some of the wealthy don't pay attention to that because they have so much money. But I'm telling you, when you pay attention to it, you can do so much more. Can I give you an example here? So let me make sure my program is running up and running. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let me put this on the screen for you. All right, let me put this on the screen for you. This is a person who does well financially. Let me show you what they're doing. All right. So we're going to go into their accounts right now. They have a $19,000 in their checking account. Okay. They have $106,000 in their savings account. Now, Some people would look at that and say, why do they have $106,000 in their savings account? See, what I'm not showing you is what they have in their investment accounts, okay? Which is way more. All right. There's a reason why they have that, but I'm not going to go into why. For most people, having $100,000 in savings in a savings account, not a very good idea. I'm just telling you. You want to have that money working for you harder than it's working here. But they have plenty of other money that's working very, very hard for them. So they can actually afford to do this. And there's a reason for that. All right. So now, what are we looking at? I just put two big debts in here. One, these are commercial buildings. Okay. One, they have a mortgage. They have $769,000 left on it. The payment is $5,991.99. They have a SBA loan that is 5%, and they owe $1,239,167, and their payment is $8,704. Okay, so when we take a look at this, all right, their budget. When we take a look at the budget, they're spending how much on their mortgages every month? $14,695.99. That's their budget. That's for their mortgage. All right. So, oh, look here. Look here. It says coming shortly. Okay, I see you. All right. So here's what we're doing, folks. Take a look at this. How much are they spending on this? So now we're going to take a look at how much they're bringing in. On one rental, $22,000 a month. The other one, $18,400 a month. That's what they're bringing in. All right. So it's a total of about $40,000. Now their monthly expenses are at $34,000. Now here's why. All right. Let me break that down to you. What it really costs to manage their debt is here. Let me put this up to you. All right. To manage their debt is around to run everything, it's about $19,000. So they have $14,000 that they're spending on just the mortgages, and another $5,000 or $6,000 to run everything else. So Don, how come their total budget is $34,000? Because they have earmarked the rest of that money between what they make and what they're spending. They've earmarked that money to go immediately back into investing. Okay, they're investing that. So let's take a look at the math. So should wealthy people budget? All right. So they're bringing in $40,600. Oh, get out of here. I'm just rounding off here. $40,600. All right. And they're spending on their mortgages, on the two mortgages, $14,000. Let's see here. Minus $14,695. Okay. There you go. So that's a cash flow. That's a cash flow of $25,000, almost $26,000. Okay, almost $26,000. So what are they doing with that money? So they're telling the program that they're spending $19,000 of that. All right, but in actuality, they're spending about $5,000 or $6,000. So we're going to subtract $6,000 from that to run everything. All right, equals. So they got $19,905 here. So now what's happening to the rest of that money? Most of it they are investing, but they're putting $6,000 away. They're putting $6,000 away every month just to provide for things that may go wrong. Okay, for a reserve account. They're putting a reserve away, $6,000 a month. That's what you see here, 6,000. So we're going to subtract that other 6,000, and they're left with 13,905 that they're every month around that much, around that amount, they're putting back into investing. All right. So that is their entire budget. They're bringing money in there, and what we're going to do now is track their spending this way. And what can happen when you start tracking your spending? Let me show you something. Tell me this. If you're bringing in around $40,000 a month, and it costs you $14,000 a month for the mortgages, okay? You are feeling pretty good about your income. That is $25,000 is a great cash flow, wouldn't you say? And so you're making quite a bit. And so are you really worried about how much interest you are paying on this money? Not really, because the cash flow is so great. I'm bringing in this much, but it's costing me this much. So let me show you what's going on with the amount of interest that they're paying that the program breaks down for us. Let's take a look at this loan. And I'm going to have to blow this up just a little bit so we can actually see it. All right. So the principal amount that they're going to help pay back the loan is $3,908 this month, but the amount of interest on this loan is $2,083. And if I'm not careful, I will think that because I make so much money over here, that the amount of interest that I pay over there really isn't significant. I may count that as the cost of doing business. Now, there are a lot of ways to look at your money, okay? But I need us to do this. If we're going to manage money correctly, we need to figure out how many different ways there are to conserve. How many ways are there to conserve? Do you want to spend up all of your money, or do you want to conserve some money? Let me give you this. The money that you could have made that you didn't make should be considered a loss. Remember that. You want to make as much as you can with what you have. And the whole idea is to become work optional. I work because I want to work. I don't want to work because I need to work. Once you make this money, folks, learn how to put that money to work for yourself. And a lot of people have done that. But have they looked at everything they could possibly do to make even more because they're already making a lot? That is the thing. So here, $2,000 a month is going to interest on that loan. So let's take a look at another loan, okay? Let's take a look at their other mortgage, all right? So we go down and we take a look at the SBA loan, all right? And how much interest are they paying on that SBA loan? All right. I clicked the wrong thing. We want to click on history. All right. Let's load it back in here. And we're going to click on history on the SBA loan. Okay. And come on. Why won't it? I may need to put that in for you. Okay. We got 807. Let me put it in an amortization schedule. All right. And we'll show you what's going on with this. Okay, we'll bring up Brett Whistle. All right, and we have a payment of $8,704. Okay, a payment of $8,704, and it is a 300-month loan. The interest rate is 5%. Let's take this out, and this is where the loan started. Okay, this is where the loan started. 1,488,906.65. And now let's take a look at how much money is going to interest. So when we take a look at this loan, okay, we see that they still owe 1,239,000. So let's go down to that. 1,239,000. 1,239,000 right here. Keep going, keep going. 239,000 right around in here. Okay. This is where we are, right around in here. This is 84 months in. All right. So at this point, $3,000 is going to principal, $5,000 is going to interest. That's what we're seeing. So what do you want to do about that? Let's go back to the program and let's take a look at it. I need you to see this. Okay, let's bring this back in line. There we go. Let's go back to the action plan. Out of all the money that was supposed to be paid to acquire these two properties, remember, we have over $40,000 coming in, and $14,000 going out to the mortgage. Look how much interest we're going to save on this to acquire the same properties. $793,163. I need you all to focus on that. Here's somebody who's doing quite well. And we figured out that they're spending $793,000 that they don't have to spend to acquire the same property. Now, if you could buy anything at such a big discount, I mean, why wouldn't you? If you're making so much money, you may not look at everything that's being spent as something that, listen, we could conserve on. So here's what the bank wants. Let me point this out to you. Interest remaining. Here's how much interest they have remaining. When we take a look at what the bank wanted from them, it's crazy. To continue to make this kind of money, and they will, the $793,000, all right, that they're going to save, all right, and the 450,000, okay, plus 450,000 that they are going to spend in interest. That's $1,243,000 that the bank wanted from them. Now, when they signed up for the loans, they said, I don't have to worry about that because we're making so much money over here. We're making so much money. So the $1,243,000 I have to pay the bank to get that money, I don't care. I don't really care about that. So now we're telling them, you know what? You should care, because this is $793,000 you don't have to spend to acquire the same asset. So if I don't have to spend it, what could I do with it? If I'm tracking now, if I'm budgeting, I'm tracking every single dime that I'm spending. I'm going to track it. And then anything that's left over, I'm going to make sure that I'm using it to conserve money that I don't have to pay. Now, what are we doing with that money? Now, remember this. Out of all that money coming in, only about $6,000 a month is being put in reserve. That is right here. Let me go back to here. Let's go to our accounts. Remember I said they have $100,000 in reserve while they're investing a lot of other money elsewhere. But this is their reserve account. So if they have $606,000 in reserve, what can we do with that money to make sure that we save interest? Could we actually take some of that money, borrow some of that money from the reserve to place on the debt so that we don't have to pay as much interest? And while at the same time, we're taking a big chunk of the $25,000 cash flow every month, and we're investing it already. So we're investing over here and we're saving money over here. Now, let's go back. Let's go back and take a look at that. I need you to really, really focus in on this, ladies and gentlemen, because all of us, if we are using debt, if we're using loans to acquire houses, to acquire cars, to pay for education, this is graduation season. All right. Here in Huntsville, we're closely associated with Oakwood University right here in Huntsville. And last night, a lot of people graduated from Oakwood University with their degrees. A lot of these students have student loans. Here's what we don't know about student loans: how they work. We don't know how they work. And when you don't know how they work, there is a great possibility that these loans will hang on way too long, cost way too much interest when we don't have to pay all of that interest. It is not necessary. The bank is asking for that interest. It's a suggestion that they're telling you. Pay this as a suggestion. But do you need to pay it? No, you don't. Is there a way I can give student loan money back, pay it back, and make it impossible for the bank to charge me that interest? Can I invest in this property and make it impossible for the bank to charge me 75% of the interest that they wanted to charge me? Can I make it impossible? Can I pay only 25% of the interest that the bank is actually asking from me? Yes, you can. All right. Now, watch this. $793,000 I didn't have to spend to acquire over my principal remaining. Okay. How much am I borrowing here? Okay. Principal remaining over $2 million. So there's $2 million, over $2 million worth of property out there that I'm purchasing. $2 million that I'm purchasing. And because I'm purchasing it, that once it's paid for, that is going to go down as net worth. But what am I spending? What am I spending to get that net worth? Let me show you this before we bring Quentin on, because I see him. He's getting ready to come on in here. Let me show you this before we bring Quentin on. All right. Blowing up on social media, not even calling nobody. All right. All right. So here we go. I need you to see this while we're looking at, I go to reports. Okay. Net worth. Here's a person that is wealthy. I mean, wealthy. Okay. This is just two of their buildings. All right. But when they saw this wealth accumulation, they're supposed to be out of debt. They're supposed to be out of debt in 25 years. Okay. So we have today is 2024. Okay. And so in 2049, they're supposed to be out of debt. By taking that money and investing it, the interest that they would have paid, let's take a look at what they could do with the interest that they did not pay. Let's go down to 2049 and see where they could be. Let me show you this. 2049. Look at that. Look at that number. That's an additional $4.5 million that they were previously throwing away because they thought that the amount of interest that they were paying was the cost of doing business. So when you can conserve that money and put it to work, this is a $4.5 million gain. But can I tell you something else about this money? This is at 1% return on their money. 1% return. They're going to take that money and invest it and make an additional $4.5 million at least that they weren't counting on because they were looking at their finances traditionally. We need to get beyond what's being traditionally done and focus in on making our money work as hard as possible. And you said, Don, how much work is it involved? Okay, how much work is it involved? So let me show you this. What if I told you? What if I told you that for $793,000, I need you to come to work for me for $793,000, and there's a instead of being out of debt in 25 years, they're going to be out of debt in 9.8 years. Not 25 years, but 9.8. If you could be out of debt in 9.8, how hard would you work for an extra $793,000? I'm going to pay you $793,000 over the next 9.8 years. Do you realize it takes 20 minutes a month to update this program? 20 minutes a month to count your money. 20 minutes a month so that so the program can do this for you. Watch this. It will tell you how much money you're spending each month here. You tell it how much you're making. You tell the program how much you're spending. You put the extra money away that you're not spending, and then it'll eventually tell you how much money to take out of that reserve account to the penny. And in this case, $13,044.92. What happened to Quentin? Wanted to bring him on. I hope he comes back. $13,044.92. Look at that. And when we do that, we'll put that on principal. Look what it does. It saves us $18,739. $18,739 in interest we don't have to spend. Folks, I need you to comment on that. If I can give the bank back their money. Now let me put it this way. If we paid this mortgage the traditional way, to pay the loan down by $13,000 their way, we'd have to pay them an additional $18,000 for the privilege. But because we are giving that money to them when we want to, it makes it impossible for the bank to charge us this $18,000. That's what we're talking about. I'm going to take a quick break here. Quentin, how are you doing, sir? Just bring him on. Let's bring him on stage. You're muted, Quentin. Go ahead and click on unmute there.
Okay, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you fine, man. What's going on with you?
Listen, since we talked, I think it was the end of 2018.
Has it been that long? Man, don't be telling my age. Don't be telling my age, okay?
Listen, when we talked the end of 2018, first of all, I have been following you for quite some time.
Okay.
And when we got a chance to talk and do a consultation with you, and you broke it down, and I was telling you how deep I was in some stuff, right? I was deep in some stuff, going through a divorce, going through a whole bunch of different things that was going on at the time. And when you broke things down for me, you literally said to me, you said you could probably be out of debt in about 5 to 7 years.
Yes.
And I said, really? Like all this stuff. And it was up there. It was all close to 100,000.
Okay.
And you said you could be out of debt about 5 to 7 years. Well, guess what? I'm done, baby.
What?
I am done.
Come on, man.
I am out of it. So as you were just talking about this, and you were talking about, now we're looking at net worth. Now we're looking at how wealthy people budget. Okay, I'm just saying.
Come on now.
It's starting to change the way I'm looking at money now. Literally, I was just having a conversation with one of my master teachers, and he was telling me about I really need to focus on net worth. I have it right here. I have it written down right here. It says focus on net worth. Right there. That's what it says. Focus on net worth.
Yeah.
And then this thing came up, and I said I had to jump on and just have a conversation with you. So I really do appreciate you. I appreciate what the P.I.L.L method is doing for people all over the world. I mean, money is money. The numbers are numbers, and it works wherever you go. So you have helped me tremendously, and I thank you for that.
Thank you very much for that, Quentin. Quentin, why don't you tell our audience what is it that you do and what you're doing now, and how come I see you everywhere on social media now?
Thank you so much. Well, so basically, I am a celebrity coach. I am a master oracle. I use the gift of intuition and the spiritual gifts to try to help people get to better faster. That's my whole job. My whole job is to help you get to better faster. Really, very much in alignment with what Don is doing. Very much in alignment with the P.I.L.L method by finding these practical spiritual. Hear me, practical spiritual truths principles that help you to get to better faster, or whatever better means for you. Better finances, better health, better relationships. And so when when I came to Don and I was like, listen, I was having some issues with my finances, I was having some issues in relationship, I was having these kinds of things, I needed help. And I had no problem saying that. And I had no problem going into it and saying, listen, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this situation? And so when Don sat me down, he went over everything. I had to be very transparent. I had to be very, when you're dealing with a coach, you have to. When you're dealing with a coach, you have to, being very transparent and ultimately coming to a place where in the time period that he predicted, God, this is so good. In the time period that he predicted or he estimated or he conjured in his computer, whatever it was, he helped me to eliminate my debt. I have like zero balance. I think I got $12 on one card because I just used it for something. But other than that, man, this has been life changing for me. And so that's my work, and this is very much in alignment with, from a spiritual perspective. I did a teaching not too long ago, Don, called "Till Debt Do Us Part." till till debt do us part. And what we don't know is a lot of, and this has been my story too, a lot of relationships, a lot of marriages, a lot of challenges happen when people are up to their eyeballs in debt. I don't know who I'm talking to, but Spirit is giving it to me this way. When people are up to their eyeballs in debt, and what ends up happening is the stresses that could be avoided, be, that might not even be such a big deal, the things that might not be such a problem, become now a life altering thing because of debt, because of the weight of it, the heaviness of it. And when somebody like yourself comes along and says, listen, we found a way to get out of this, we found a way to alleviate some of this pressure, we found a way to move you through this very quickly, and not changing anything about my money. Like my money did change, but not changing anything about it as it relates. You just help me reallocate it. You help me reposition it and to shift it in a certain way. And so I will tell you that what Don is doing, Don, what you're doing is a spiritual work, first and foremost, that has financial implications and also life saving, life changing implications. So this has been very, very helpful for me, and I really do appreciate it.
Well, listen, we've got something coming up. So we're going to put it on the screen here in just a second. We're doing something called Money Answers All Things. Okay?
Oh,
Money answers all things. Can we put that on the screen right now? So
yes,
it's from Ecclesiastes 10:19. Okay. So let me ask you something, Quentin, about the spiritual aspect of money. Can I ask you?
please, yes.
Okay. Is God antagonistic towards his people?
No,
Really? Does God want his people to be successful?
absolutely. What's true of God is true of you. Is God sick? Then you ain't sick. Is,
Listen,
is God broke? Then you ain't broke.
listen. If God ain't broke and I'm his child,
Right?
and does he want to take care of me or what?
Absolutely.
We're going to be talking about that in not too distant future. So I think it's good that you're here right now. But I need you to please. Can you help people to understand that the way you think about yourself and your money will determine where you end up with money? Can you give us just a little bit on that?
Absolutely. So back in 2015 or so, I did a teaching called "It Costs More to Be Poor." And you got it immediately. I did a teaching called "It Costs More to Be Poor," and what I helped people to understand that poor is a mindset first and foremost. It's a psycho spiritual condition. Poverty, poor. It's a psycho spiritual condition. And what ends up happening is when a person gets into this mindset, this psycho spiritual condition of poverty, of lack and limitation thinking that there's not enough, what ends up happening is they keep themselves in a condition of bondage, a state of bondage. And so money is absolutely a mindset phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, it is. And it costs more to be poor, not just because of higher interest rate. All that stuff is absolutely true, but it's a toll on your life. You
Mm.
understand? It's a toll on your health. It's a toll on your relationships. It's a toll on everything. And so I'm so glad that you're talking about money answers all things. We used to say it this way: name a thing, name a thing, anything, anything.
My house.
Good. Is a house a thing?
I found house is a thing.
Money answers all things. Is a car a thing?
A
Is it a
car's a
thing?
thing. A car's a
And
thing.
money answers all things.
Okay. So listen, help people to understand that the money isn't on a pedestal. It's not being worshiped, but help us to understand how we acquire these things and keep it in context. Can you help us with that part?
Yeah, yeah. So when we get into this idea of poverty, then poverty conscious, and I talked about this too, that people who are operating from that mindset that there's not enough,
Yeah.
when they get something, right?
Hmm.
It becomes the main thing. It becomes an idol. It becomes something that becomes, oh my God, this is so special to me because they didn't have it before. And you
Hmm.
see this time after time, they call it new money, nouveau riche, whatever they call it, right? Where it's like they get into this condition where this thing now becomes so important to my manifestation, to my ability to be who I am. Well, the way you get out of that consciousness is by shifting your thinking to understanding that it's not the thing that you're really looking for at all. It's the state of being that you're trying to become.
Oh, look, listen, listen. Did I hear you just say the money doesn't make me?
Gosh,
The money doesn't make me who I am. Who I am attracts the money. Is that what
that's
you're
it.
saying? Oh
That's
my
it.
goodness.
My,
Folks, are
the,
you hearing this today?
yes, because this is the flow, and I hope you guys get this, and you can put it in the chat if you guys are listening. It's be, do, have. Be, do, have. And most people, we live life from the bottom down, trying to get God, Lord, help me pay my rent. Lord, help me get this. That. We live life from the bottom down instead of from the top, from the bottom up to instead of from the top down.
Hmm.
What happens is when you focused on be, do, have, you start from a place of beingness, you function at a doingness, and you accumulate a havingness.
Mm.
I'm gonna give it to you again.
One more time.
Start at a beingness, you function at a doingness level, doing things, go to work, you gotta do what you gotta do, you gotta do, make things happen, right? And then you accumulate a havingness. Well, most people focus on having things, and then they do what they gotta do to have it, and then they worry about what they're gonna be, who they are later. Who am I really?
Mm.
Who
Mm.
how do I feel about this? I work with, let me tell you something, and I
Come
can't
on.
call names, but I work with celebrities all the time. And so many of them are doing very well in certain areas of their life. And you've probably seen it all over, reality TV and stuff like that, doing well in certain areas of their lives, but other areas is crumbling. Other areas they're not doing well because they started this this doing this level. I can do this, I can do that, I can act, I can, I can write, I can do whatever. They started at doing this level, they accumulate all this havingness, and then they try to figure out, who am I really? Who really am I? And so this whatever you're doing this, when is this event happening?
Listen, we're scheduling that.
Okay, got it. Well,
Yeah.
put me on the ticket item list. Whatever, however you get a ticket, put me in there because this is something set. We need it, Don. We
Okay.
really. And when you came into my life, you came into my life at the right time because you came into my life before the divorce and stuff like that. But then
Hmm.
after it was it ongoing is when I called you and I said I need to sit down and talk to you because I don't want to take this debt into my single life.
Mhm.
Because I was about to be single, Don. I was
Okay.
about to be I didn't want to take that into that. And so when you helped me with that, you really freed a lot of things up. And now I'm, doing very well and relationship and everything is great. So yeah.
Can we talk about um, the idea of of money, not just um, looking to manifest. Okay, we're looking at who am I supposed to be? Who
Yeah.
is I? Who is I created to be?
That's it.
Okay, I don't know what that is for you.
Hmm.
I don't, and no one knows what that is for me.
Hmm.
God knows.
Hmm.
So here's my question: Do you want to try to create yourself, or do you want to try to focus on how do I discover who I'm supposed to be? How
Yeah.
do I how do I how do I do that? How do I
Yeah.
discover who I'm supposed to be? Can you
Yeah.
give can you give some insight on that?
Sure, I think it's very important. I think it's very important to discover who you're supposed to be and understanding that there is a process to this. One thing I'll say, and whenever we do the event, it might be something that you can pick apart a little bit more.
Hmm.
But when you're in this journey of self discovery, um, it's supposed to be a mystery. Okay, you're not supposed to know. Okay, you don't come out like, oh, I know who I am like this. It's supposed to be a mystery. In fact, the mystery is my story, my
Ooh.
not history. It's unfolding the mysteries of God, the
Mm.
mysteries of who I am, the mysteries of who I'm supposed to be. You're supposed to unpack it. That's what self discovery is about. But get this, self discovery is step three. Step
Mm.
three. The first one is self love, self acceptance, self respect. Who am I talking to? Because we do these things with our money and we do these things with our energy because that's what money is energy. We do these things with our energy. We put our stuff into stuff. And it's like, do you really love yourself? You mentioned about on your list, you said, what was it? You said income. Then
Yep.
you said giving to others,
Right.
giving to self.
Yep.
What was number four? Pay
Well, so,
something.
giving to others, giving to self, pay the minimums on your debt, and to pay the
Mhm.
rest of your bills.
And pay the rest of your bills. So
Yeah.
I want you guys to hear that. That in that flow, after you receive, give first. So there's a level of prosperity thinking even in that. Hear
Mm-hmm.
me. There's a level of consciousness, prosperity consciousness even in that you're willing to give of your first fruits. You're willing to give of you got it, Don. You're willing
Well,
to give first and then give to yourself, self-love, self-care, self-appreciation, self-acceptance. You're willing to give into that. After you do that, it starts to open up all these realms of discovery because it's like, wow, I really do actually like whatever your thing is, and you kind of put fill in the blank. You get to like it, you get to enjoy it, you get to travel if you want to travel, you get to invest where you want to invest, you get to you do yoga if you want to do yoga, whatever your thing is, because you've already followed this system. Of course, then you pay the minimums on your debt and you pay all your other bills so that you can, of course, survive. If you understand that self-acceptance, self-love, self-respect, these things come before this whole idea of discovery, because if you don't like yourself, you're gonna start to discover a whole bunch of things that'll make you crazy.
mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, listen, I'm gonna put something on the screen. We're gonna talk about it. Okay, put
Okay, go
something
ahead.
on the screen. Let's go ahead and put that on. All right, here it is. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. So if
Yes.
I know the God of the universe looks at me this way,
Mhm.
how do I get to the point where I can say, you know what? I second that emotion.
Yes.
How do
You
I
you
get
know,
how do I get there so that I can look at me the way God looks at me?
yes. Now do me a favor before we go into this. Can you change the NIV
Yeah,
to the KJV just for me for a second?
I can do that.
Okay, he gonna pull up the KJV real quick.
All right,
Um,
King James Version. Here
yeah,
we
you might be able. You
go.
might be able
Yeah,
to.
I'm too far down. Too far down. All right, here we
Okay.
go.
So I want you guys to take a look at this. It says, "For I know my thoughts, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not evil, that to give you an expected end."
And
Now I want
expected
you.
it.
Yes, this is good, but I'm gonna break it down.
Okay.
So I want you to understand what your creator, the all that is, okay, wants for you, thinks of you. It says
Hmm.
the thoughts that I think towards you, right? It says thoughts of peace first. So I need you to understand that the first thing I need for you to have, the first thing I want you to manifest, the first thing I want you to find out for who you are is this level of peace. You got to accept what it is. When I came to Don, I was not in a peaceful state because I was going through a lot. But when he made me break down everything, pull up your credit card statements, do this, pull out everything, I had to come to a sense of acceptance about my condition. I had to come to a place of peace about where I was in order to get to where I desired to be. But the other thing is, and not of evil. Now, don't get spooky here. This ain't spooky. Okay? Evil is simply living backwards. It's live backwards. Livevil. That's what it is. And raise your hand, how many people do you know that's living backwards? Like you ain't getting out of debt, you ain't paying a debt if you add in more. You ain't getting out of that situation. How many people you know are living backwards? Evil ain't spooky. Evil is living backwards. And so God, Spirit doesn't want you to live backwards, doesn't want you to go in reverse, doesn't want you to back it up and don't want you to live that way. I want you to have this level of peace because I want you to advance forward. I want you to get out of this debt. I want you to get out of this condition of poverty. I want you to get out of this idea and this mindset of lack so that to give you an expected end. Now catch this, to give you an expected end. That means the end is already expected. I already know what I want for you. I already know the process. I already know what's good for you. I already know what I desire for you, but I can't even give it to you because you're in debt.
Mm.
I can't even give it to you because you're broke. I can't even give it to you because you're working with a poverty consciousness. This is why. So it's like I have these blessings that I desire to give you, but I can't even give it to you. This expected in because you ain't no peace in your life, ain't no peace in your finances, ain't no peace in your home, ain't no peace, and you're living backwards, and it's getting even worse. It's quicksand.
So I'm trying to get to a destination. All
Yeah.
right. All right. And listen, I'm putting my foot on the gas while I have my other foot on the brake.
Yes.
Okay. So listen, tell me this. Tell me this. All right. Because I heard you say something, about the idea of lack,
Mhm.
not enough,
Yeah.
debt, poverty consciousness. I heard those terms. You know, what if I want to make a change
Hmm.
and I want to hire a coach,
Hmm.
but I don't want to pay the coach? I think I don't have enough money to pay. Help
Hmm.
me understand what that does for me when I feel I don't have enough money to pay the coach.
Yeah. So it's a precarious situation because what ends up happening is it's almost like you think that by giving up this money, by giving up this money, by spending, that's what people say, thank you, Spirit. You think by spending this money, it's gonna make your condition worse.
Mm.
There's a thought here. And so one of two things happen. Either A, they don't spend the money and the condition doesn't get better at all. In fact, it gets worse,
Mm-hmm.
literally.
Mm-hmm.
Or some people will spend the money, hear my words, will spend the money, but not apply the teaching, not apply the lesson, not apply the process, the method, and then the condition gets worse as well. When you have this idea that if I spend this, it's gone, it's spent. It's
Mm-hmm.
spent, depleted. That's what the
Yes.
word spend means, to deplete something,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's depleted. But if you have this consciousness of circulation or investing, I think is a better word too. When you have this idea of I'm going to invest this money in myself, and I'm expecting an expected end. I'm expecting a return on my investment. One thing that you've always shown us, Don, when you just put up go back to the little chart with all the numbers and stuff. One thing that you showed us is that there's a way to see what you're getting out of this. There's a way to see the numbers of this. There's a way to see the potential. I think it's right here, the actual versus potential. There's a way to see the money that you're actually saving. There's a way to see your return. And one thing I like about working with somebody like Don is that it's tangible, like it's provable, it's palpable. I can see it, right? When you work with me, you're gonna feel it. Okay.
One last thing before we go to break, because we're getting ready to go to break here. One last thing. So when you talk about this, and I'm going to tell on myself. Okay, I'm telling on myself. Yesterday, there's graduations here in Huntsville, and I'm going by different graduation parties. And one of those parties, they have banana pudding. And I had some. Okay. Yeah. Oh, no. I know. Listen, I know that all that sugar is, but I love banana pudding. So okay. I had some, and it was good. It was good banana pudding.
Good.
Here's the point I'm trying to make. That good banana pudding has a recipe.
That's right.
Okay. That person that made that banana pudding, if they have all the ingredients and put them together the same way every single time. Good morning, Valerie. How are you doing? Can they count on that banana pudding coming out the same way each and every time?
Absolutely.
Are you telling me that have you ever seen the righteous forsaken or a seed begging bread? Have you ever seen where you followed the program the way that God put it out there for us? Have you ever seen it not work?
Absolutely not.
Come on, man.
I say it this way. It works if you work it.
It works if you work it.
Reverend Johnny Coleman of Christ Universal Temple in Chicago. She would say it all the time. It works if you work it.
Come on. It works if you work it. Listen, we're going to go to break right now. So get a drink of water. I need you to listen to Dr. Eric Thomas. He is the #1 motivational speaker on the entire planet right now. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down from my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Wow. So Quentin, are you getting our emails? Are you on our email list?
I am on the P.I.L.L method email list. Yes,
okay,
I am on that.
So when you will get you will know when that comes out.
Money answers all things. Good. And also
yes.
too, I'm gonna schedule with you again.
Yes.
Because now that I'm out of debt, I have an accumulation of things, okay. of money that I wanna start to put into a different go a different route. And right. So like I said, focusing on net worth. And so let's you and I definitely see each other soon, talk soon, in order to talk about what that could look like. And if there's anything I can do to help, if there's anything I can do to help anybody that needs some support, needs some help, please let me know. And also listen, anybody who you're coaching,
yes,
count me in on that too. In other words, let them know that they have support, not just coming from this angle, but also from a psycho-spiritual angle as well, so that we can collab and work together as well.
Excellent. Go ahead and email me at info@thepillmethod.com. And yes. And I'll give you, we'll make sure that you get advance notice on that. info@thepillmethod.com. We'll make sure you get advance notice. Thank you so much for being here and spending the time with us today.
All right, now. Thanks so much, guys. Love y'all. Take care.
All right, folks, listen, you want to know more about what we're talking about. You want what Dr. Eric Thomas was talking about. Go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com, and get a savings and earnings report for free. Let's go ahead and put it on the screen. ice10k.com. This is what you're going to see. All right. So get that. So go here, and then underneath Dr. Eric Thomas' picture, you're going to click on Get a Savings and Earnings Report. Okay. Go ahead and get that. Get a savings and earnings report today. And then understand when you can be debt free, how you can manage your money, how you can use debt to your advantage. Okay, we're not saying you don't need debt. Oh man, listen, leveraging money, that's the way to go. How would you like to leverage money? Be able to borrow it at a discount, 75% off, to be able to acquire what you need to acquire, but pay pennies on the dollar for the use of that money. That's what we do here at the P.I.L. Method. We make sure that you acquire more for less. Come on, that's what optimization is all about. Our program is the only program that optimizes interest savings. Now, some people will tell you, Don, we don't need a computer. Okay, we don't need a coach. We just pay more towards the debt, and to a certain point, that is correct. But it doesn't optimize. You can't optimize what you can't measure. When you have a computer that's running everything, it's going to tell you the right amount of money to put on the right debt in the right month on the right day of the month, so that you can save the most amount of interest per dollar. Come on. I want every single dollar that I make to work as hard as it possibly can, so that even though I am wealthy, even though I do well financially, I can do even better once I have the tools that I need to optimize. Oh my goodness, we optimize everything else in life. Everything else we optimize except the use of our money, especially if God has blessed us to be wealthy. So get a free savings and earnings report, all right, and find out how you can level up, manage your debt more efficiently. All right, manage debt more efficiently, and then so that you can take the money that you didn't spend when you didn't have to, and take those savings and invest that as well. Go ahead and get the house of your dreams. Go ahead and do the things that you want to do, but be careful to manage the wealth you have been blessed with, so that you can turn it into more. And as you gain more, guess what? You can give more. Give more back to the world. You know, there's a lot of people that are giving. You know, I'm watching the news the other day, and I think this school is in New York. It's a medical school. Did you read about that? Did you see that on the news? Where somebody gave such a large endowment that every student from now on can go to that school tuition free. That comes from learning how to conserve. That comes from learning how to manage. That comes from learning how to budget. Managing your wealth so that you can get the most out of it takes such little time compared to what you're going to get out of it. It just doesn't make sense not to budget and to take care of your finances, and to do it the very best way, do things the very best way you can. You know, so here's the other thing you want to take a look at. All right, let's bring this up. Okay, let's go down here, and let me get this off the screen. And here's a button for buying the book. Why do we need the book? Because it's the only book on Amazon out of 33 million titles that begins to shape our thoughts about money and borrowing. It is a totally different look. So we're going to put a picture of the book on so you can see what it's like. Get the book today and then read the book and then share it with young people. People that, when we share this information with young people, ladies and gentlemen, when we share it with young people, we will always be in a position where we can make our future better, because our young people won't be jaded when it comes to money. Okay? Our young people will not be jaded when it comes to money if we can help them to understand to buy the book. Let's put that on the screen so you guys can see it. There it is. Okay? Get the book today. Get the book today. All right? And then after you read it, share it with young people. All right? Share it with young people. They need to know. Also, I need your help. What do I need your help with? I need your help with sharing this information. Can I get you to help me? All right. By becoming an affiliate today. Click on that button at ice10k.com. Go to ice10k.com and become an affiliate today. It takes what? 10, 15 seconds to fill this out? And just tell us how you want to get paid. As an affiliate, you can make between $300 and $3,000 a month just by sharing the videos. So people can get this lifetime program so that they can do better financially. Our whole goal is to make sure that if you work with us, you'll be far better off than trying to do this on your own. We are not doing what you could do. Now, some people think this. I need you to listen. Some people think all you need is the discipline. We're supplying what undisciplined people won't do for themselves. What we're doing for you here at the P.I.L.L Method is something that you absolutely cannot do for yourself. Okay? We're doing all the math, the millions of calculations it takes to come up with the right amount of money in the right month, on the right day of the month, on the right loan to maximize your interest savings. Now, you can save some interest on your own, but do you want to save some interest, or do you want to save the maximum amount of interest and time in borrowing this money? We guarantee that there is no better way on the planet than this program. And if you find a better way, just let us know. Whatever you paid for the program, we'll give it back to you. There is no better way because we're the only ones that focus on interest, maximized, optimized interest savings. Nobody else is doing it right now. So anyhow, let's get back to where we go. I want to get back to the action plan here. And I want to show you some other things. So Don, one of the loans we're looking at is the SBA loan. When will that be paid off? Well, we're supposed to be paid off in 9.8 years, but the SBA loan will be done in 7.8 years. Okay. So the other loan will be paid off in 2 years after that. So we're now focusing in on the micro instead of just the macro. We have put into the program now when we could be out of debt on each credit card, each loan. You can track your progress in the program because we guarantee your success in this program. If you follow it, you will actually do better than the numbers we have on the screen. Actually do better. Okay. So what is it that you want to do today? Should wealthy people budget? You better know it. So what else do I have on this? The role of budgeting in wealth management. I want you to hear this. Using this approach, we demonstrate how even the most financially secure individuals can benefit from a refined budget, not just a plain old budget. one that is refined. This isn't about cutting expenses, but about enhancing financial clarity and control. How much control do you want over your money? How much clarity do you want to have? Do you know most people just go through the day just kind of, existing instead of getting clarity on where they are in the day and what they're actually doing? How can I have clarity and control over my money? If you have AI helping you, all you have to do is follow it just like GPS. Okay. So that is kind of where we're going here. Listen, advanced financial strategies for the affluent. I want to share this with you before we get out of here today. Our whole goal for this episode is to go beyond traditional budgeting to explore sophisticated financial strategies that the wealthy can employ to ensure financial structure as efficient as possible. Not just the education, not just the technology, but also the mindset that it takes to manage wealth more efficiently. That's what we're all about. You see, we're just not just education here and technology. We're about coaching as well. Because right now there's a certain attitude and a certain mindset towards money that's keeping us from becoming who we're supposed to be in managing whatever talents and gifts we've been given. Do you want to get the most out of life? Are you okay with just existing? No, our coaching program is designed to help you to get the most out of life and also give you the right mindset. Okay. So we can also look at our AI driven opportunity cost calculator as a tool that helps making more informed investment decisions so that you are optimizing the impact of every dollar, not just saving, but investing as well. Okay. So as we work together, ladies and gentlemen, as we work together from now on, as you come in here from day to day and watch these videos and share these videos, we want you to know that we're giving the best of what we have. We want you to know that we're sharing with you not just warmed over information. We want you to have a complete and total paradigm shift when it comes to your money so that you can at least move this off your table of concerns. We are far too concerned about the wrong things when it comes to money. And those wrong things limit our ability to manage it, limit our ability to receive it, limit our ability to actually do the very best we can with it. That's called when we let me see, stewardship. I lost the word for a minute. That's called stewardship. How do we take care of what we've been given? So listen, take care of it, folks. If you have it, take care of it. If you don't have it, let's get the mindset to learn how to create it. We want to be able to be that person that God intended us to be so that we can create those things that he intended for us to create. So the Bible says that the poor will be with us always. But guess what? We don't always have to be poor. One more time. The poor will be with us always. But we individually don't always have to be poor. The Bible also says that we can be transformed by the renewing of our mind. Keep that in mind as we go into next week. Listen, I'm going to bring up the next 3 shows. I'm going to put out later how we're going to. I'm still structuring on what day each show is going to be, but let's take a look at the next 3 shows. So we're looking at. Let me pull up my notes here. Okay, there we go. Get this out of here. Our next 3 shows. All right, where we are. Okay. Oh, that's not where it is. Where are my notes? There we go. All right. Here we go. Zombie mortgages. I think you're going to like this one. Zombie mortgages. This is a show that is going to rock your world. There's a thing called a zombie mortgage that's coming back to life ever since the pandemic. Oh, I'm sorry, not the pandemic, but the financial collapse in 2008. Since the financial collapse of 2008, there are some mortgages that are out there that were prior to 2008 that people thought had gone away, but they're coming back to life to take people's property from them. Oh my gosh, this is zombie mortgages. You don't want to miss that. Okay, so that's coming up in this next week. The next we want to take a look at is 8 things you must do before getting a mortgage. 8 things you must do before getting a mortgage. That's going to be a replay. That's going to be on that one. I can tell you is going to be on Wednesday. This coming Wednesday is a replay. 8 things you must do before getting a mortgage. So watch these 8 things, write these things down so that you can put yourself in a position of strength and of power and of knowledge when you go to get a mortgage. So you are not relying on the mortgage lender to educate you on their product. Oh, don't let that happen. Okay. All right. And the other, we're looking at, I'm talking with another success coach. His name is Jerry Malcolm. Success Inside Out. Okay. Success Inside Out. We're trying to get him. We're trying to get him for Sunday, but Sunday won't work for him. We're trying to work out now whether we can get him on this coming Friday. So I'm working that out with him. I'll talk with him about that later today. If it doesn't work out for this week, for this coming week, then we'll work with Jerry on probably the next Sunday after that. So probably the 20th. Let's see, the 19th. We're supposed to get him for the 19th. Maybe we can get him for the 26th. Okay. So hopefully we can get him next week. But if not, all right, you don't want to miss these next shows that are coming up. But I want to thank everybody for being here today. I hope this has made sense to all of you. How you can even be the wealthy should budget so that they can maximize the use of their money and mindset so that they can even do better than they ever thought they could and stop giving away money unnecessarily. All right. So that's going to be it for today. Listen, Quentin, I want to thank you for showing up. I didn't know Quentin was going to come in here. Like I said, I met him back in 2018, and it's totally transformed his financial life. And he says he used some of the P.I.L.L method strategies to get him to where he is today. So if you want to use some of the P.I.L.L method strategies to get you where you want to be financially, don't forget to go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com, and get your free savings and earnings report. It's free. Quinn got his free one. What about you? Don't leave things on the shelf. Get your free savings and earnings report and see where we can take you. I'm looking forward to this. And if you're listening to this today, every now and then I do this. Give me a call at this number. The number is 256-886-1867. 256 886-1867. Okay. And because it's Mother's Day, go ahead and give me a call. All right. We have somebody that's on the switchboard. They're going to take your call and then ask for me. And I'll answer a couple of questions for you directly. Because it's Mother's Day, we're doing a quick Mother's Day special. Call 256-886-1867 today. Ask for me, and I'll answer some questions. All right? Because we're taking basically the rest of the day off because it's Mother's Day, but we want to make sure that we're doing something special for our listeners. Give me a call today. Leave me a message, and then the operator will make sure I get your message, and I'll call you back today, and let's talk a little bit. All right? Thank you so very much for being here. Don't forget, we're going to be sending out, if you're not on our mailing list, this is how you get on our mailing list. This is an easy way to get on our mailing list. I'm going to show you how you can get there easy. So go to our website, okay? PILLmethod.com. All right. PILLmethod.com. There we go. Come on. There it is. Okay. So when you go to our website, why is my computer taking so long to load? Okay. I don't know why that is. Okay, I don't want the blog. Where is my website? Come on. PILLmethod.com. There it is. Okay. So PILLmethod.com. All right. So you scroll down to where you see the book. And it says download the first chapter. You can go to PILLmethod.com, download the first chapter, all right? And that will put you on our mailing list. So we'll give you the first chapter of my book for free. If you click on this, get the first chapter of my book for free. That will put you on the mailing list, and we'll let you know ahead of time what is happening with the P.I.L.L method. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Make sure you tune in the next week. Get on the mailing list. We'll see you later. Have a good rest of your happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Bye-bye.
How many want to know how to pay off all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years? You can do all of this without refinancing, without change to your budget, without sacrificing lifestyle.
Me and my husband do the P.I.L.L method, and last year we were able to pay down $33,000 on our mortgage without feeling like we were poor. We still did tons of entertaining things and enjoyed our family.
You don't have to eat beans and rice every day. You don't have to cut up your credit cards. You don't have to drive a 30-year-old car. You don't have to sell pizzas at night to pay off your mortgage. All you need to do is pay the bank less interest. That's what we're talking about today. Here is what P.I.L.L method stands for: prepayment of principal, isolation of principal amounts, leverage, and liquidity. You understand it? You have a way of getting out of debt more efficiently. The interest rate you're quoted is not the interest rate you pay. You think you're buying a $500,000 home. The true cost of that home is what? $758,000. Total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 51.777%. That's what's going on with this loan. The ability to read and defeat an amortization schedule is not taught at any level of financial education. I need you to understand the power of a penny. You will not hear what I'm talking about from Dave Ramsey. Do you know why? Because I own the copyright. I literally wrote the book.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. and it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L. method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.